Hey, guess what? Wednesday, May 29th is National Flip Flop Day. So grab your flip flops and head to your local tropical smoothie cafe from 2 to 7 on National Flip Flop Day, and you'll get a free 12-ounce Island Punch smoothie. Island Punch smoothie is my kid's favorite smoothie. Head on over there and get a free one from 2 to 7. Tropical Smoothie Cafe, you're on Tropic Time now. Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Monday, it's Mugshot Monday. I'm here with my girl Keisha to talk about Love During Lockup, Season 5, Episode 6, or Episode 28, depending on what your television tells you, called The Mourning After, Mourning, The Morning After.
We had a lot of mourning going on this episode.
Yeah, I don't know about this episode. I think we're learning more about Shonta and the 400 people that live in her house. There's a lot of people living in her house.
Yeah, we had like some health issues going on.
Yeah, we got Candice she's not doing okay on day 2. What else happened? We had Joey's mom. Yeah.
Yeah. We only had like one really highlight this episode. And it was a good highlight, I will say that. But everything else was like, wah, wah, wah. It was kind of doom gloom.
It was very doom and gloom. And somebody posted on the Facebook group today, like, this season is like not great. And you're like, but we're good. We're good.
Oh, and that person has never listened to the recaps.
Oh.
Yes. And I was like, what?
I think her name was LaShawn, and I think her name is Gilbert, because I remember thinking somewhere like, okay, LaShawn Gilbert something. Sorry for calling you out. I think there's a third name there, so I'm not. But yeah, and she's never listened?
Yeah, and everyone was like, some people are like, we don't even watch the show. We just listen to the recaps. Like, come on. So, LaShawn, if you are listening, welcome to the recaps. Like,
really?
Yes.
The recap's way better than the show, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you want to tell the people what you did last night? Because it's very interesting.
So there's quite often I tell Mary Payne things about myself, and she simply does not believe them.
Because you've told me lies in the past, so now I'm wary.
I tell her, when I lie to her, they're so outlandish that it tickles me that she even believes them. But when I tell her the truth, she's like, that's not true. I'm like, this is totally true. So for example, I love the band Coldplay so much. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, my ringtone for producer James is a Coldplay song. It has always been a Coldplay song. Like, I switched them up. And she's like, Coldplay's not your favorite band. And I'm like, yes, it is. I'm like, what is that to even lie about? Now, me saying that I've done time in prison, that's so stupid. Like, I can't believe she fell for that for the 20 seconds that she believed that, okay? But Coldplay is, like, seriously my favorite band. And she's like, no, it's not. No, it's not, Keisha. Stop. I'm like, okay. So last night, I just sent her a picture that is proof that they are my favorite band. So last night, we went to, it's this series called Candlelight Series, and it's like a string quartet, and they do like different, like they'll do a tribute to Rihanna, or they'll do like a spooky series. But last night, it was a tribute to Coldplay, and we went because Coldplay is my favorite band. So I sent this to her as proof. Like, Mary Payne, this is what I did last night.
Like, why would I go listen to a string quartet play Coldplay if they were not my favorite band?
Yes. So finally, I had the proof to show to her. She's like, okay, yeah, I guess they are really your favorite band. I'm like, I told you they were. So yes, that is what we did last night. It was so great. It was wonderful. Just, I loved it.
I bet it was good, because that music, they have a lot of strings in that music already. So yeah.
They do. And I clapped. I was so excited. had chills. And then the violin is my favorite instrument of all time. Then I gave her another shock today because I used to play the violin when I was a young girl in Catholic school. So for a brief second there, I saw the look on her face. She wanted to not believe me. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
okay.
She was trying to find the lie. She was like, she was trying to find the lie. She's like, I know this bitch did not go to Catholic school because she would have burst into flames every time she stepped into the church. But I did go to Catholic school. I did. And then
You
she's
were
like,
probably very sweet back then.
I really, really was. I really, really, that's why I'm like I am now, because I was so sweet back then. And she's like,
Yeah.
I know she did not play the violin, which I really, really did. But yeah, it was great.
I believe you. But Anna played the violin briefly in elementary school, and John played the trombone or the trumpet or so. I don't know. He
Really?
played something. It was terrible. Yeah, whatever it
Oh,
was. It was
was
not.
it?
Yeah, yeah. And he played the
Trombone,
guitar a
that's a
little bit
lot.
too. It
Trombone
wasn't
is
the
a
with the.
lot of instrument.
I don't feel like it was with the big slide, and I don't feel like it
Okay.
was a trumpet. It was something in the middle of those. All I know is going to an elementary school, band concert is not
They're
for the
quite
weak.
awful. Yeah,
It's not for the weak.
yeah.
Yeah, got
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
recorders being played. A lot of
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad that you got to do that. It sounds super fun. I've done
Mm.
nothing this weekend except for deal with my husband who's sick, and now I think he may have gotten me sick because I'm feeling a little lightheaded myself.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, yeah, yes, he has. It's like an upper respiratory infection, and so I went to the pool today, just determined to like sweat it out.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe wasn't a great idea.
Probably, that's funny. My mom has been dealing with the same thing all this week,
Hmm.
and she got on steroids
Yeah.
and antibiotics, and she's like, the antibiotics are not working. So she got on a stronger antibiotics, which I guess they were a little bit too strong,
Oh no.
because she's been like lightheaded and really dizzy and all this and that. And my mom is at that age now that anytime she has like a symptom of something, I'm like, do I need to take her to the ER? Like, you get
I know.
scared
I
the
know.
older that your parents get, like everything kind of spooks you a little bit. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but she doesn't act her age. And so every now and then she's like, you guys, I'm 67. I'm like, well, you need to goddamn act like you're 67. Stop walking around here acting like you're 40. You know what I mean? So it's like when she does get sick, it scares me a lot because she just does not
She's
act her
young.
age.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's young though. That 67 is pretty young.
But she acts like she's 40.
Yeah, well, good.
And then every now and then she'll bust out with, I fucking have to remind you guys, I'm 67. I'm like, well,
Right.
remind us on
Right.
the daily. I'm like, she runs circles around me, like big time. So, but yeah, when she gets sick, it kind of like reminds me of her age, and it like scares me a little bit.
I know. Well, mine are in their 80s, and
I
it's not.
know.
It's super scary all the time because somebody's always falling. Somebody's always falling down. Somebody's
God.
always
Well,
somebody's
see,
always falling.
my mom, she trips a lot, like by nature.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I have this rug in my bathroom. It reminds you of wicker, but it's not wicker, but it's this like really cool bohemian rug, and
Okay. Yeah.
she calls it the killer rug. Everyone trips on it, and she tripped on it one day, and like I shouldn't laugh, but I laugh, but it's really bad. She like tripped, bumped her head, skinned her elbow, and I
Mm-mm.
refuse to get rid of the rug.
The rug may need to go somewhere else in a less traveled area.
Well, it's in my bathroom. What was she doing in there anyway?
Well, that's true. It's your bathroom. Tell her to get out.
Well, it
Go.
doesn't help. I've tripped on it like 99 times, but I have young reflexes. So I'm able to catch myself. James has tripped over it. Mila has tripped in there. But it's so like unique. I just can't
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Maybe you should hang it on the wall as a wall hanging. You can still admire it, but not break your neck.
I mean, there's a damn bench on top of it. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't help you there. People are just clumsy, I guess.
is she
I fell down
really
my
this
stairs. I
clumsy?
fell down my stairs last week, Keisha. It's crazy that we're talking about this. I literally fell on my face, bit it. I've got the biggest bruise on my knee. Dave yesterday is like, God, that bruise on your knee. I go, remember when I fell down the stairs? He's like, I didn't realize you hurt yourself that bad. I was like, yeah. I was on the floor, like laying on my back like a turtle. Like I was hurt. I was hurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awful. You should
I know it's
totally
been a bad
sue the
place.
homeowners.
They ain't got no money. All right, let's get into these people. We're going to start with Andrew and Candice because why not? Now, it's only 2 hours out of prison. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, only 2
I'm
hours."
tired of these people.
Yeah, it's not gonna end well for these 2.
No, I mean like the whole cast.
Oh, the whole cast. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got a
yeah.
we got a couple more weeks with them. Um, so it's 2 hours out of prison, and she's driving around in the car with Andrew and Candace, and she says the part of town they're in is triggering for her,
Mhm.
and she wonders why. She's got support, she's got a place to go. Why can't they just let her go? Why can't they just let her go to the apartment? She reminds us she was in prison for 2 years for burglary, but this sounds interesting. She was in an open door prison with 80 other women in a therapeutic community. It was just bunk beds and open doors, a therapeutic community. But she wasn't in there for drugs. She was in there for burglary. So
Okay.
I don't know if that's because she was a repeat offender or if her burglary was related to drugs. Wasn't explained very well.
Maybe she tried to. No, she didn't try to steal a car because then that's like they call that something different.
Grand Theft Auto.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, mm,
Well, she had at some point tried to steal a car. She had told us about
right.
that, but maybe this particular time was just like a home invasion. I don't
Inmate.
know. I don't know. Candace is bad news. So she says now they're trying to put her in a place that used to be a hotel, and now they put mentally ill people on one side and parolees on the other as like a halfway house. And it did
Mm,
look kind of grim when they drove up to
it
it. It
did.
didn't look. It looked depressing.
Yeah.
Um, so she comes back to the truck and she's like, I need a cigarette. I need a cigarette. And then she's like, the guy, like whoever's in charge of it, he told me that I don't have to stay here, that I can just text him every day and let him know where I am. But I have to register for as a felon and get EBT. And she goes, but what if my PO shows up? Like, he just says I have to call him every day. Like, I don't trust this. And I was like, this is weird because he's like, if I was him, I would have been like, we're getting out of the car together and we're walking back in there together so we can
Right.
have 2 witnesses that heard him say, you don't have to stay here. She had
And
her
get
suitcase and
a
everything.
notary too. I need someone to
Yeah.
notarize what this person. And what is like EBT have to do with any of this?
I was like, is it EBT? What I'm thinking of is like food
Like,
stamps. I looked it
yeah.
up. It is. That's what it is. Because I was like, maybe it means something else.
What
So
does
I was
that
like,
have to do with it?
maybe she has to register to get um, care to get food stamps because she's doesn't have a place to live. I don't know. She has to
That was
register as
odd.
a felon and get EBT. And then
Okay.
she was like,
Felon's hard, yeah.
the welfare is saying I don't have to stay, but the parole and probation says I have to go every night. So I don't know what to do.
See,
So
this is a hard situation because my mind would say, do whatever my parole officer says do.
yeah,
But my heart would say, I'm trying to get to this new apartment.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
big time.
I would definitely be like, I'm not going to leave this welfare place until I find out for sure.
But
I would
why
like, I'm
couldn't
going to get somebody else to tell me the truth.
yeah, like I would call my probation officer and say, look, this is what this guy is saying. I need for you to tell me exactly what to do. But then
Yeah.
again, I don't know. The halfway house could be like when Harry was at his halfway house where they had like Chick-fil-A, they had drugs, there was sex and all that. I mean, it could be better than going to the apartment. I don't know, but that's crazy. I
Yeah, because that halfway house was banging. That
Oh,
one,
it
it
was
was like
on and
it was a
popping over
party.
there. I'm like,
Yeah.
shit, I want to go to that halfway house on the weekends and I'm free, you know?
Oh my God. So they go to the apartment. She's very happy. She's like, it's so
Mm,
cute. It's so cozy. She can't believe he's already got furniture in there. And she's like, I
right.
really want some fried chicken. And she gets in the showers. Now she gets Cane, Raising Cane's. There's a lot of
Uh-huh.
discussion like, what was this chicken? I was like, it was
Yeah,
Cane's,
it
right?
was
Is that
Payne.
Cane?
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
looked like to me.
We have very few Canes up here in Virginia. They are all over Mississippi, but there's a few up here. And my son knows
Mm,
where they all are because he loves
yeah,
him some Raising Cane's and some cane
same with
sauce.
Skylar. And
Yeah.
I could never eat it ever again in life. I think it's bland.
I don't think
Um,
it's all that good either.
Yeah,
I've had
like
it, but I don't like need it.
no, Skylar like has to have it 5 days a week.
Yeah, John really loves it too. Isn't
I
that
don't
weird?
I don't
I
I
don't
don't
think it's very
I
good
don't get it.
either.
It's bland. I don't think it's seasoned very well. I don't get what the sauce is all about. I mean, she pretends like it is a gourmet meal.
She was excited though, but she'd probably been thinking about it for 2 years, you know? Um, and she says, I love how he loves me. I love how he takes care of me. And when I was in prison, he told me he'd support me in all my dreams and goals. And I can imagine myself, settling down with somebody who's stable like this. And so, she likes the idea of him, basically.
Well, I will say this. Sometimes I feel like she's a gold digger, but then again, there's moments like when she walked into the apartment and she was completely surprised that he had gotten all this stuff. Like maybe she did
Yeah.
not ask him to get these things. He
Yeah.
just did it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. But I have a feeling that she did ask for the Louis Vuitton and the sparkly phone and all that stuff though.
Oh, yeah. And the
Yeah.
sunglasses and the wallet and all that stuff.
Right.
So, they're going to bed. They're gonna like go to sleep. And she says, listen, I'm okay for you to be in the bed with me, but I'm not ready like to be intimate or anything like that. And he says he completely understands. They're not gonna rush it. He just sort of like pats her across the bed, pat, pat. Um, and then this is where we get this, producer asks Candice, are you attracted to Andrew? And she does looks up, looks down, looks to the side and says, I'm attracted to Andrew. And then
It
they
was
keep
like
that
the
camera
producer.
on her just like 2 seconds too long, as they always do.
It was like the producer asked her, "Are you attracted to Quasimodo?" Because it's like,
She goes, it's like she asked the question back. She goes, I am attracted to Andrew? Question mark.
yeah, I think we were all
Yeah.
collectively uncomfortable.
Yeah. 2 seconds
Yeah.
too long. They keep the camera on her. So the next day, I guess it's the next day, she says, listen, I know that he's affectionate and I hope he
Mhm.
understands about the trauma. And she says, she wants to have sex, but she can't have those memories of the past. And, I think a lot of people have pointed out that she's probably never in her life had like sober sex either.
Okay.
Now she's sober and she hasn't had a drink or whatever was her drug for 2 years. And
Okay.
he says, look, I know she's been in bad relationships where she's been physically abused. So I understand and we're going to take it slow. And then she starts telling him, as she's doing her makeup and stuff. And she says, not have, having my son in my life and staying out of prison are the two most important things to me. And not having him, like, that is my main focus. She tells us she got pregnant when she was 17. Her son is now 11. He was 3 when she split up with the dad. She says divorce, so they were married. And the son went with the dad. And then she was on drugs and she was very inconsistent in his life. And she goes, so I would just not come around because I couldn't be a mom when I was on drugs. We see some pictures of them like when she was younger and the kid was young. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
she looked so like happy then.
Her kid probably doesn't even know who she is, other
Yeah,
than that's my mom, but does not know her as a mom. And so
right.
while she's talking about custody, she should be working on like a relationship of any sort with him at
Yeah,
all. Like he does
yeah,
not know her. He would probably not even be comfortable being around her.
right. I mean, he hasn't seen her in years. Yeah.
We don't even know if he's talked to her while she's been in prison.
I assume not. It's probably just been like the one thing that's been on her mind. And.
Yeah.
So, he says to her, well, do you feel like you're in a position to be in a relationship right now with me?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, of course. Cause I don't want to, I mean, it's kind of a late to be asking that question since you've
Yeah.
done all this stuff. And she says, yeah, I don't want to do it alone. And then she says, after I got divorced and after my mother died, I was just using drugs to cope and fill in that gap and fill in that lonely feeling that I felt. And it's hard now being sober 2 years to really look back and realize what I've done, how
Mhm.
much I messed up. I have so much guilt over it. And he says, I'll help you. Baby, I'll help you with whatever you need, baby. We'll do it together, baby. Yeah.
See, this is where he gets on my nerves though.
The baby, baby, baby. That bugs me.
No, the whole I'll help you get your kid. We don't even know your kid's name. We have never seen
Hmm.
a photo of your kid. You are
Hmm.
paying $1,300 a month for this girl's apartment and you are still paying $450 a month for your child support.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I don't like Andrew. And every time I think about
Yes.
that, his ears get bigger to me.
Poor little elf. So,
Yes.
she says, I really can't think about anything else, any other steps forward until I can gain some kind of custody of my son. My ex-husband has him, but I never terminated my rights. He doesn't have
Okay.
full custody, and I want to fight for some custody. But I mean, I think like what you're saying, the first step is to just like be in touch, just to
Yeah.
like establish some sort of relationship at all before the ex-husband could even trust her to be, she's got to
Right.
prove it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she cries and says, I've missed all the first days of school. He's not a baby anymore. Like he's a boy. And this is, one of the reasons why I've relapsed so many times whenever I realize what I've done. It's the stress of
Yeah.
what I've done. And then she starts thinking about it and then she relapses. And she says, I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I'm sorry I can't be everything you need right now. And then she says, Andrew leaves in 6 days. And once he leaves, it'll be easier because then I can just do what I need to do and not have to worry about somebody else's emotions. That's
I mean,
pretty honest,
I can't, I get it, but then I don't get it because you're talking about doing all of this stuff, but you still cannot drive.
No.
You don't have a driver's license. You cannot pay your
Mhm.
own rent. You cannot pay your
Mhm.
car note. You don't have health insurance. You totally are dependent on this other person.
Yeah. I wonder if she would even qualify for EBT. Do you know what I mean? If she's got all this help coming in from him,
And then, can you qualify for EBT when you don't even have a dependent? As a single person, can you qualify for EBT?
I would imagine you could, right?
I don't think you would get
Right.
very much, though.
Yeah. But I mean,
No.
I don't know. As long as she's got canes down the street, she's happy. So, she says, dealing with what comes being in a committed relationship is something I battle. And it's not going to be fixed overnight with this guy. She's being very nice about him, but
Mhm.
she's saying like, I'm not going to be intimate with him. It's going to be hard for me to be in a committed relationship. It's not that she can't do it. She just can't focus on it because she has to
Mhm.
focus on being sober and focus on getting to see her son.
Right.
And then in the talking head, he like tears up and says she has all this regret over her son. I wish there was something I could do to take her pain away. He's just so whooped. Oh, Keisha, your screen went black again, but you came back.
I'm back again. I'm black
There
again.
she is.
Fade
Yes,
to
you are.
black. He's doing too much.
He is doing too much.
I cannot take an overly sensitive man. Why are you crying? For
Yeah. Why are
what?
you crying? Yeah. And he's just like, I
Stop
just want to
it.
take her pain away. And yeah, I don't think it's going to end with them together. I don't think she's going to be mean to him or ditch him or anything. I think she's going to let him
Oh,
down
Mary
easy.
Payne.
I
She's
know.
so gonna ditch him.
But I
Big
don't think she's going to
time.
do it in a mean way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why I think that. Maybe I'm
Let's make
just
let's make a bet.
let's don't. All right, let's move on to a sad story. This was Joey and Michael. Joey is talking to the camera and he says his mom had a brain aneurysm which caused a stroke.
Yeah.
And they knew it was serious because all the nurses called the whole family into the ICU basically to say goodbye. And then we see Michael talking from prison, and Michael says, Joey, basically, he said he'd gone blackout, but I think he meant like he's ghosted him. Like,
Yeah.
and he says, he's really isolating himself. I can't get him to call me back. It's like his world is ending because, his mom was in the hospital. Now, Joey goes to see his pal, Nancy, who's making a frozen pizza.
But
She's like, I'm
they
making us a
love
pizza.
frozen pizzas in his family. Of course, remember when Joey made a frozen pizza for his parents?
That's right. He sure did.
Like,
Yeah.
you can, they sell the stuff like at the store to make an easy pizza at home. Like, what is with the frozen pizza?
They do love a frozen pizza. You're right.
They do.
So he goes to see Nancy, And he tells her, like, I'm sorry for being MIA. And, my mom is doing better. They have to do another procedure on her. And he goes, it's so crazy how life is. Like, one day I'm looking for a place for me and Michael to move into. And the next day I'm dealing with all this with my mom. And it really is just put everything in perspective. And he says, I'm really starting to question, what am I doing with a guy who's in prison, who's not available for a relationship? And life is so short. I don't want to hang around for another year waiting on Michael.
Yeah. Little does he know that it could be more than a year. He still
Way
doesn't
more.
even know this.
He doesn't even, he's looking for an apartment.
Yeah.
And so, which by the way, maybe he should get an apartment anyway, but maybe not now if mom really needs his help,
Huh? Yeah.
So he says, when I was upset about my mom, Michael was really, really there for me as much as he could be. But yeah, I think I have to take a step back from the situation.
Wow.
Which is shocking. And so
I
Nancy
was really
says,
shocked.
I think I think he had this situation with his mom and he was like, whoa, I don't want to live like this. I really want to like live life with the person that can like be with me because life is so short. Yeah. You don't know
We've
what could
come a long
happen.
way. Last week we were in a hotel with a bottle of lube. And
yes, that's right. That's right.
This week, like, he has gotten all of his senses back. Like, yeah, you need to be out of this relationship with this dude with this mustache that just keeps reappearing, like, out of nowhere. Yes.
This week, they had, like, a guy in a wheelchair rolling behind him. We're like, where is Michael? What's going on there? Who's the guy in the wheelchair? What's happening? So Nancy says, yeah, I worry about that. I worry about Michael getting out. Like, what if he's hanging around some sleazy guys? Will you start doing that? And Joey goes, no, like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go down that road. And Nancy outside says, I do worry with this Michael thing that he would go down that meth road again.
I think he would. I don't think Michael wants to be sober.
I don't either. And then, because we haven't really heard Michael talk much about being sober or trying to do his meetings or anything.
Or do anything productive in life, get a job. Everything about Michael is about sex. I think he would cheat on Joey. I think he would use him for money. And I think it would be very, very bad.
Yeah, he really kind of only talks about sex.
Yeah.
You guys, we love Tropical Smoothie Cafe. We have one right down the street and we go minimum 3 times a week. And Tropical Smoothie Cafe is celebrating the beginning of summer and the return of a refreshing fan favorite mocktail, the Island Punch Smoothie. Oh my gosh, my son loves the Island Punch Smoothie. So this smoothie is delicious. It's made with peach, guava, passion fruit, mango, and pineapple. Yum. It's so delightful in the summer. And also, did you know that May 29th is National Flip-Flop Day? Does that sound like the best holiday ever? I love summer and I freaking love flip-flops. So kick off your summer with a free, you heard me, free 12-ounce Island Punch smoothie from Tropical Smoothie Cafe. That's right, you're going to get a free smoothie. So grab your flip-flops and head to your local Tropical Smoothie Cafe from 2 to 7 on May 29th, Flip-Flop Day, to get in on the free smoothie party. Terms and conditions apply. Tropical Smoothie Cafe, you're on Tropic Time now. So he's going to meet, he says he's going to meet with Michael's mom to be an ally with Michael's mom to help him when he gets out. And with the parole coming up, if he doesn't get parole in 4 months or whatever, he'll have to reevaluate at that time. But he says if it doesn't work out, I'll be devastated. So he's like, I'm taking a step back, but yet I'm going to meet with his mom and I'm not going to wait around for a year. But if it doesn't work out, I'll be devastated. He says like the opposite thing, like back and forth, like he's very torn. It's very sad.
And I think Michael needs to go live with his mom when he gets out. And I think he needs to prove to Joey that he can get a job,
stay sober,
stay sober, be faithful, and all these things. Because I think Michael's going to come out and treat Joey like he's his do boy and his mom.
Yeah, I think so too. I do. And it's not that I get a bad impression of Michael behind bars, like he's like a bad person or anything. I just get a feel. I just think that it's just like a tiger doesn't change its stripes, kind of a thing,
And he's immature and just he's
been in and out of prison a lot as an adult.
Yeah,
yeah.
he has.
So in the talking head, Michael says, yeah, I know Joey thinks I'm going to get out soon, but, really I'm in here on this charge and that charge and this other possession charge, and it could be 6 years, but, I promised Joey I'd be there for him, and I want to be there for him. I was like, well, I don't know. You better go ahead and find a prison boyfriend. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. How about tell him the truth about your time?
I know. I think he's waiting for this parole hearing to be like, surprise, they just told me something I hadn't known in the past, which was I'm going to be here 6 years.
Ugh.
Yeah. Let's move on to Shonta. Now, you said you had some information to share about Shonta.
Okay, so do you remember whenever we first met Shonta, and she told us, she's like, yeah, I just moved to, where are they at, Missouri?
They are in Missouri, but she was in Kansas.
She was in Kansas. And so she was like, yeah, I moved to Missouri so I could be closer to True. So whenever he gets out on parole, he can come straight here. And she's like, I'm paying a mortgage back on my house in Kansas. I really need for this house to sell. And now I'm paying a mortgage here too.
Yeah, right.
Well, she was lying.
Uh-oh.
She did not own that house in Kansas, nor does she own the house in Missouri.
So why didn't she just say I'm paying? Why didn't she just say I'm paying rent in both places?
So I'm going to give her a little bit of grace.
Okay.
Because we know that some of these people are not the smartest people. And maybe she does not know the difference between a lease and a mortgage. That's what I'm going to give her.
Okay.
Okay.
I do think she's kind of got her shit together.
I don't know, Mary Payne.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. And then she just got that kind of dumb look about her. She just kind of looks. She looks a little bit simp.
Oh.
She got a little simp look about her.
Oh.
So the house that she's living in now, which is a rental, she actually got evicted from.
Oh, no.
For unpaid rent. Okay.
Oh, no.
So that was in January. So she got evicted, but then she paid up.
Okay.
Only to get evicted again in April. So she ended up having to pay $5,449 in damages. I'm sorry, she had to do that in March. So she went ahead and paid that money and she moved out. But it turns out this is not the first time that she's been evicted. She's been evicted multiple times within the last 7 years from different places.
Oh, no.
So this is like her thing, okay? So turns out that True also has a 15-year-old son that has not been mentioned at all.
Yeah.
During this show. So back in, I want to say 2011, there was a paternity test that was done that proved that True was the father of this kid, and he was ordered to pay $5 per month in child support.
Wow. That's worse than Andrew. Yeah.
How much did Andrew have? Oh, the
450.
Yeah, so that's all the scoop that I have on Shonta. But I'm just like, she just told us all about this. Why did you lie about that?
I bought it.
I bought it. We all bought it.
Because I thought she seemed smart. I did. I thought she seemed smart.
I bought it too. I just thought she had her head on straight. Yeah. But as the episodes have gone on, I'm like, I don't think she's that smart. She just wasn't.
All right. So it's 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks until True's release at this point. I have to assume in real time they're not together. That's what I have to assume. But
I cannot find them on social media. Neither one of them. And I've been looking hard.
One of those kids has got to be on social media, or the niece.
If I got to write down how to spell those names because I
wrote them down.
Boy, okay, you'll have to.
I'll send them to you because it's rough. So
yeah.
So we've got a lot of people in this house. Okay, so her niece Janelle comes over, who she calls Nellie, and
we're gonna call her butterfly eyelash.
She's got the neck tattoo and the lashes for days.
Yes.
And she's got a big suitcase, and she's like, we're only going for a couple of days. What are you doing? She's like, we know I got to have outfits. So we have Shonta's kids here and her grandkids. Now, I feel like we found out she had 3 daughters and 1 son. But what we see first is we see a grandchild in her lap, and this grandchild's name is Amani. And then we see another toddler who we don't get the name for, who is in her daughter Monet's lap. So now we've got 2 grandchildren here.
Which we figured that because a couple of episodes ago, we were both like, did we hear a baby? Like a toddler in the background?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but who has a baby?
So
Now we know.
Shariah, her daughter is there. She's 17. And this is a daughter we hadn't seen before.
Right.
She was one on the couch. She was the one that hugged her mom and pulled her down. She's 17. And then we see her son, who's 16. His name is A-Mare apostrophe J-A-H. Amar J. Amara J. And he's 16. So we got Shariah 17, Amara J 16, and then we say Monet, who's been on the show already, she's 19. So we don't know if these kids look real close to the same age. So I don't know whose kids these are.
We don't know who the kids are.
We don't know who they belong to. The 19, the 16, or the 17-year-old. So Shonta has a very, very egregious fake Louis Vuitton bag. I
didn't even notice it.
Yeah, it's only got the print on the front of the bag instead of all the way around. Okay. So she and Nellie are going to meet up with True's mom and sister. And she says, when I met True, he didn't even have a relationship with his mother. And they've only been talking now about 6 months. And his mother was a character witness against him and encouraged others in his trial to testify against him. And his mother thinks he will never change. So that says a lot right there. That says a lot. We've had this before where we had not inmate to roommate. Prison brides with the prison brides. Yes. Yep. That guy was convicted of murder and his mother turned him in. Yep. So she tells us that she has spoken to his mom on the phone before and that mom will call her sometimes and say like, hey, you're supposed to send True the money. Where's the money? Mom doesn't give me that energy when we meet her, but
hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Pump the fucking brakes right there. Because how the hell you gonna call me?
Right.
Like you are a bill collector.
But it's interesting, right? Because she hasn't even talked to him in all these years. And so she's only been talking to him for 6 months. So in those 6 months, she got Shantae's phone number. I was like, I think I'll give her a call every week to find out where your money is. That ain't right.
This is that's some hood shit right there.
I liked the mom though.
You gotta, well, for one thing, she has True's whole face.
Yeah.
It is like she prayed really hard for True not to look like True's dad. Yeah. And God said, well, you gonna get what you prayed for. He will not look like the dad at all. He's gonna totally look like you. But the audacity for her to call Shantae and say, you're late putting money on True's books.
I know.
I'm not going to put any money on his books because I believe he's guilty as fuck and not a good person.
All right.
But I need for you to put money on his books. Really?
I know. That was surprising. She hasn't talked to him in all these years. Why does she care? Why does she care? Crazy. So True tells us that he has tried to rebuild his relationship with his mother and also his sister to show that he's really changed since he's been in prison, and it's hard for him to forgive them because they contributed to throwing half his life away. So I see his point. I mean, because he's like, what? You didn't have to go all that way to get me in here. But he says he has forgiven them for putting him in prison, even though what he did to get himself in prison, was his own fault. So True calls and they're in the car and he says, are you ready to meet your mother-in-law and your sister-in-law? And she's like, I don't know about the sister now. Just found out about that. And then he says his sister and Shantae are both like firecrackers, so they may or may not get along.
I don't know. Whenever I see Shantae, I don't get firecracker.
I don't either.
I get house mouse.
House mouse. So this was so funny. So they go into like this hotel bar and Nellie sits at the bar like a stalker and just sits over there to listen, which was hilarious.
Well, was there not an option for them to keep the suitcases in the car?
I don't know if they were like staying at that host or I was like, just roll them up to your room and then come down to the bar. Maybe they were running late. I don't know.
So many they still could have kept the suitcases in the car
or at the front desk.
Meeting gone back. Yes. So many options.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't get it. And then at what point did Nellie say, you know what? I'm going to take these eyelashes off just in case I need to fight. Because she took the eyelashes off.
I did not even notice that. Maybe she didn't want to look so obvious sitting at the bar with those eyelashes. She wanted to look inconspicuous. She wanted to keep it on the DL. She's like, nobody look at me. I'm over here blending in.
Yeah, but I guess she needed to see in case she needed to fight.
That's true. She needed to be able to see.
Know.
Yeah.
But she just snatched them off.
Maybe one fell off and she couldn't fix it in time.
She didn't have to. Maybe they were the other one. The glue was in the suitcase. I don't know.
Good point.
Yeah.
So Nellie sits at the bar. It's like nobody's going to notice her there. And Shonta she just like sits down with True's mom. Was like, hey. And True calls. It was like, it's like they'd known each other forever, but I think they've only like talked on the phone. It was weird.
When she was collecting money for True.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mom says, her name is Stephanie, and she goes, so y'all have been together for 2 years, but you've never seen each other in person. And Shonta says, well, I send him pictures every single day and commissary money. And Mom's like, well, that's not what I asked you. Don't you think, you would want to be curious? You'd want to go see him. And in her talking head, Shonta says, I do have a very personal and deep reason for not seeing him in prison, but I don't have to tell her what it is.
Well, can you tell us?
Because
we want to know too.
Do you think it's like she had a dad or a brother or something in prison and she just can't bring herself to do it? Or
it wasn't the same prison because you're from a whole other state.
I know.
And what the hell was with that baby hair in that little confessional that she did? Why was it across her fucking forehead like that?
Oh, I didn't notice it.
It's a good thing that you did it because it was horrible.
It was just like she had dragged one piece of hair across like a comb over.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? There were so many things in this whole scene that just didn't make sense.
Yes, I think that her reason, obviously, for not wanting to go to the prison has something to do with somebody in her family, but she didn't tell us. So,
no, I'm calling bullshit. She is not ready for that boy to see how she looks until he's completely free and he's a place to stay.
All right. I think
that's what I'm going with.
All right, I think I'm going to be right. So,
okay.
Stephanie says, so are you in love with him? And she goes, yeah, I am. I love him. I'm in love with him. And then Mom says, until you see him in person and he acts like a butthole. And Mom says, I don't understand this. How can she date him for 2 years and you don't ever have the urge to go and see somebody face to face? Like, it makes no sense. So then Angela arrives, the sister. So she's like, oh, I'm interrupting something. They go, no, actually True called a minute ago and he interrupted us. And Angela goes, well, that's your fiance. And she goes, yeah, that's my baby. And Angela goes, how is he your baby if you've never seen him in person?
Because, Mary Payne, it makes absolutely no sense. You are the only person rooting for her in this situation. She doesn't want him to see how she looks.
Okay.
Look how she sits. She sits like this. Her arms are together in the middle with her hanging in between her legs. Like she's in kindergarten on the first day.
Listen, she's got a bunch of kids. She's had guys. I mean, she's had boyfriends. And
he's a musclehead.
Yeah.
He's at the tip top. I mean, yeah, he got a big old meathead. It's big and round and he, but she doesn't want him to see how she looks, Mary Payne.
Okay.
All those pictures that she sends him have Snapchat filters on them.
Yeah.
She has on, what do you call those little things you put on your waist to squeeze it all in?
A waist trainer.
She's got on waist trainers. She's got the camera aimed up high.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Payne Gilbert.
Okay.
Stop being in denial. His mom sees, his sister sees. I see. Millions of other viewers see. You are rooting for her. And I get that. I love that about you.
I'm rooting for her. I am, because she seems sweet.
You root for the wrong team. You're on the wrong team. You're on the wrong team. Continue.
All right. So Shonta says they talked for a long time, just kicking it as friends before they decided to be in a relationship. And Angela goes, has he told you he has never dated a black girl?
Here we go.
And in the talking head, Angela goes, look, she's a nice girl, but she's not his type. I know the kind
not his type.
She says, I know the kind of person he deals with, and I don't think this is ever going to work out. And we see lots of pictures of. She says she doesn't think it's going to work out. She don't think it's going to work out
because of why? Why?
She doesn't look like the kind of girl that he normally deals with.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And we see some pictures of those girls that are blurred out, and they're like
Uh-huh.
ratchety looking white girls is what it looks like. Yeah.
Ratchety looking white girl, because that's what he likes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Shantae says, yeah, our plan was once he gets out of prison, like we were going to spend 7 days in a hotel just getting to know each other. And then he's going to parole to my house. And mom just is like, oh, really? And she says, I didn't know that, but that's just him being him. You know, he could come and stay with you. That might be better in a way because we bump heads. And Angela's just shaking her head. So True calls again. And mom says, so True, Shantae here tells us that you're going to live with her. And he says, knowing that all three of them are sitting there, he says, I didn't say I was going to live with her.
Mm-hmm.
And mom says, well, you need to let me know because I'm planning on fixing up that room for you. And he says, look, if that's what you want to do, you should do that. But I mean, I think, probably Shantae is the one who told you I was going to be living with her. So he's just talking in a circle. He's talking in a circle. And Angela says, oh, brother, you got to keep the same plan between two people. You getting caught up? You getting caught up?
Yep.
And he goes, no, I'm not. And she goes, why did you propose to her? That's what I want to know. And he says, I can't answer that. Like she's sitting right there.
Why do you think he kept calling?
Because he wanted to make sure that they weren't talking about him because his stories were getting messed up.
Yes. Yep, that's exactly why he kept calling, because he didn't, what just happened about where he was going to parole to, he was hoping that conversation never, ever came up.
Yeah, I mean, it's in 3 weeks.
He's playing this girl. Yeah, he's playing this girl big time.
I think he is.
And she's just sitting there looking like a simp.
Yeah.
Even though everything's coming together.
And
she don't want to believe it.
He says, I can't answer that. And Shantae goes, okay, now hold on now. He's being bogus about this. He's trying to make me be weak, and we're not doing that. And they all hang up on him. So mom says, he's telling her one thing. He's telling me one thing. And mom says to Shantae, did you ever stop to think there's a chance he could be using you? This is his mother.
Yep.
And then Shantae says, well, you take the same chance on men out here. Like men out here will use you too. Shantae says, I need to talk to True because I'm getting sign after sign that maybe I should back off. You think? You think?
You think?
Oh my gosh. I feel bad for her.
I mean, when a man's mother is telling you how he is, you better believe it.
Yeah, that's bad.
You better believe it. That's really, really, really bad. But she's going to choose not to believe the mom.
I know. I know. And also, they just left all those kids alone in the house with the two babies. I was like, you left a bunch of teenagers alone with two babies, like, see you in a few days? What's happening?
Well, at this point, I think the kids have more sense than their mom.
Well,
they're going to be all right.
That's
fine. True. I mean, when the boys say he'd rather go to school than go over there and be with that bullshit that they just heard, that lets you know right there.
That's right. Monet's 19. She's in charge of everybody.
Well, you heard what Monet said last episode. My mom does stupid stuff. She gives to these men that she shouldn't give to. They've seen it before.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Rick and Samantha. So Rick is waiting. Rick's face is melting off. I'm a little concerned. His face seems like
Rick is pressed. Okay.
Yeah.
He's pressed.
So he's waiting on Samantha to call, and he's written a song for her. And he wants to let her know for sure he's decided he does want to marry her. And she normally calls at 6:30, but it gets to be like 7:30. She still hadn't called. She's never late. He's all stressed. And she finally calls and says, look, I was upset. I didn't even want to talk to you about all that stuff, that happened with the reunion and stuff. And he says, I wrote you a song. I want to sing it to you. These are my lyrics that I wrote. Okay, so you're ready. You're ready for some like Coldplay level deep shit. Okay.
I was.
Here we go.
All right.
My Samantha, I can no longer hide from my feelings deep inside. I just want to be with you. There's nothing left for me to do. I'm just going to marry you. Samantha, be my bride. And
at that moment, she should have said, you know what, never mind. I really don't need you to come to Idaho that bad. It's okay. It's okay. Save your coins. I don't need you to come. That's all right.
I mean, A for effort, but really,
Little efforts.
I mean, I can't sing, and maybe mine was even better. And so
Yours was most definitely better. You have a chance of getting like some studio time.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would invest in you getting a little bit of studio time, maybe about 15 minutes worth of
Yeah,
studio
right.
time.
Let's be honest about it.
He's not getting in the studio.
Mm-mm. And she was
No.
like, wow, no one has ever serenaded me before. That is so sweet. And he says, I'm doing it. I'm coming to Idaho so we can get married and start a life. And she says, well, this just takes a big weight off my heart. He cries. He says, I'm so glad I was able to find you on fucking Google. And she says, it was meant to be. It's the right timing, and they're going to be together. Okay. So now we get to the best part of this. He's headed to Idaho on Southwest Airlines to see his bride-to-be. He met an Uber driver on his last trip, Ricardo, who became his friend. And we meet
Thank
Ricardo.
God for Ricardo. We love him.
Best side character ever.
Like, he made this show. So he is the shining star this season. How can we get Ricardo his own show? Because he saved this whole episode. He's got good teeth.
Yeah.
He's cute.
Yep.
He's charismatic. He's funny. And he's fucking got sense too.
Yeah.
More sense than all of these goobers put together.
He was great. So he tells Ricardo that, yep, I'm doing it. I'm going to get a hitch. So I got to go look at rings. And Ricardo goes, I know a great pawn shop. Yeah, pawn shops have good stuff. And he says, yeah, like I have a long list of stuff that she needs. It's more just like requests, but I've spent thousands of dollars on this stuff. So now they go to the pawn shop and the man shows him a ring. Now, he shows him a ring that has 2 carats worth of diamonds in it, Princess Halo setting, white gold for $329.
No.
I was like, that's 2 carats worth of diamond for $329?
I know.
I don't. Okay. But he says there's only certain kind of rings that she can have there because they have to be a certain price. They can't be flashy because they want anybody liable, stealing, whatever. So he finds a ring for $90.08. And he says, it's perfect. It's on like Donkey Kong. By the way, they've both been married like 6 times. Just to reuse one of those rings.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He was very proud of himself when he said it's on like Donkey Kong. He got a good chuckle at himself over that one.
Okay, Mary Payne, I still say it's on like Donkey Kong.
I think I do say it sometimes myself. Yeah.
And I get a chuckle when I say it too.
I get a chuckle whenever I say, guess what, chicken butt. I don't know.
I haven't said that one in a while. Okay. You actually choked me up a little bit. It's been a many years since I've said that one. Try
it later today. It's pretty funny.
I can't wait to say it to James. No, actually, I'm going to say it to Skylar. I don't think she has ever heard that before.
Yeah, it always lands. So now they go to a vitamin shop, and she has a long list of vitamins that she wants, which is crazy.
This was crazy.
And Ricardo's like, why does she need all those vitamins? Is she like a gold digger? You think she's selling them? And he goes, no, she just needs all these vitamins. And Ricardo's like, she's 115 pounds. I'm from the hood. She's selling them.
She has to be selling them, right?
But who's buying vitamins in prison? I don't understand. For what?
Why? But what could she possibly need with $500 worth of vitamins?
$496 on vitamins. That's $400 more than her wedding ring cost.
I don't think it's healthy to take that much vitamins.
It was so
There's
many.
no way.
Yeah, it was wild.
Like there's like you can overdo vitamins.
Yeah. Take one multivitamin and leave it there if you feel like you need to take something.
I don't think that's good for you. I think she may, I don't know, potentially kill herself with all that.
Even the vitamin lady was like, that's a lot of vitamins. This is my job.
I think she has to be selling them.
Who wants
or
to
she's
buy
like
vitamins?
making something.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
We need answers.
Somebody tell us. All right, let's end with Ayonna and Jahmal. Now, I got to tell you that Ayonna this week, I understand that she blames everybody else and takes no blame for her. I get it. She does. Mm-hmm. But I really did feel sorry for her this week because she is very overwhelmed with life.
Which part did you feel sorry for her for?
Because she's just crying, just bawling, crying about how overwhelmed she is. I mean, that therapist told her she should let it out when she needs to cry, and she's really letting it out.
But she's letting it out for the wrong reasons.
I know. I think she's so
Like,
overwhelmed with her life. Yeah, and her choices.
if she were crying because she was going to miss her kids,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
If she were crying because she's not going to be able to pay her rent, yes.
Okay.
If she were crying because she was going to lose her job, yes.
Mhm.
I saw this bitch crying because she wasn't going to see her man.
Right.
I saw her crying because the judge gave her 4 years probation because she was an asshole.
Yeah.
I saw her crying because she was late to see her man. Yes, I
Yes.
saw her crying for all the wrong reasons.
I agree with that. And I know that all of her problems are self-inflicted.
Yes.
But she's just self-sabotages at every turn. And
Mhm.
it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch.
Yes, it
So
is.
we see her still crying. Now, we did find out she's in the basement and not in the pantry. So that I was glad about
Yes.
that. I was glad that she
Yes.
had gone to the basement to cry and she wasn't with that baby in the pantry.
Because I was highly convinced it was a damn
Me too,
pantry.
because that little door
I
was so
really
tiny.
was. Yeah.
So she's still crying and saying nothing is fair. And so Lexi comes over and is like, "Where are you?" She says, "I'm in the basement." Okay, not the pantry. So she says, all this BS is taking a toll on her. And she's like getting the kids in the car. And she says, and now because of like the court thing and everything, and then they tell me I'm going to have to do this probation. Now my 3-hour meeting with my man is going to be cut short. Now, once again, poor Darian is in the back seat, not buckled, and the baby's not strapped in right either. You
And did you
guys.
see little bitty Amira walk into the car? She's like, "Here we go with this bullshit again."
She's so
She just
stinking
walking.
cute. She is so
She's like a
cute.
little adult. She's like, "Here we go with this bullshit. Here I am with my leggings on. Got to ride with her doing all this crying and shit again. Let's see if she gonna even buckle me up this time. Just here we go, here we go, here we go."
She looks over at
She
Darian. It's
cracks
like,
me up
did you look over at Darian and be like, "Do you know how to buckle this seatbelt? Because can somebody help me
because
out?"
she just like we're not back here. She just acts like we're not kids. We're not back here. It's not against the law. Just here we go. Let's just hold on to each other.
Oh my God.
Easy.
And poor Darian, he didn't say a word. He's so traumatized.
He didn't.
So
Yeah,
Lexi tells they're talking about the judge, and Lexi goes, remember when talking to the judge, you set the tone.
that's right.
You
Yeah.
set that tone, getting,
Mhm.
smart with her. And again, we agree. You can't just be cooking somebody breakfast in court. If you were in court, are you going to bring your hot plate and make somebody
No.
breakfast? No.
Exactly.
So she says, remember, you set the tone. And, the problem is you never think about a solution until you're flat on your face. And then Lexi
Right.
says the smartest thing that anyone's ever said on this show. She says, Ayonna, reality doesn't click to her. She
At all.
says that's the way she's always been, and it's just a coping mechanism. If she doesn't think about it, if she doesn't think about the worst to come, then it won't happen. And I wish she
Yeah.
would stop thinking like that, or she's going to get herself in trouble again. And so that's why I just
Yeah.
kind of maybe my heart went out to her a little bit, because obviously she copes with bad situations by pretending they don't exist, and then of course it gets worse and makes it worse, and then she's so like hair trigger anger. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. My heart just went out to her. So.
She's just young and I don't she's gonna have to hit rock bottom,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
She's just one of those people who's gonna have to hit rock bottom before she just gets it. And
Yeah.
that's the sad part because she has children.
Yeah. I just want to go to that therapist like 3 times a week, and learn how to talk things through.
Is there not an option to go every day?
I mean, right, twice a day. So now she's complaining, "Oh my God, like I'm running so late for my visit with Jahmal. We were supposed to have 3 hours and now it's going to be much less." Then after she drops the kids off, I guess at her brother's house, she
Mhm.
tells Lexi in the car she's going to pop herself and then stick her finger in his mouth. Now, I didn't.
Is that what she said?
Yes.
I just heard her saying that he's gonna suck all this off like her lips,
And then
her
after
lip gloss.
that, she said, "I'm going to pop myself." And then she motioned like putting her hand in her pants and then putting her hand on his lips. Yeah.
Oh,
So I didn't need
that's so
that.
ladylike.
I didn't need
Yeah, that
that.
was real ladylike.
I didn't need that.
Okay. And I don't think they're gonna let her do all that.
No, I don't know what she's thinking. And he calls and she says, "Yep, I'm 45 minutes away." So she's 90 minutes late to a 3-hour visit.
Like, why even go at this point.
Yeah.
Why not spend this time with your kids? Because
Yeah.
you're only going to be able to see him for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Spend that time with your kids. See, this is why I don't feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
Because to me, her children are never the number one priority.
Right.
He always is.
Right.
You're going to see him for fucking 30 minutes. Wait till you get out of jail, redo this visit, and just go spend time with your kids.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with all that. So she's like, I'm just super stressed because I have to go to jail tomorrow and I got to see my man, got to go see my man. And she acts like she sees him every weekend. I mean, she's never seen him in person since they've
never seen him.
Since they've been dating this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have that one picture of them together from like 5 years ago when he had a baby with her friend.
Yeah.
So now we see her come out of the prison visit and she gets in the car with Lexi and she's just like bawling, crying, saying like, just drive. And she's so upset. And she's just like, I'm just trying to chill. I'm trying to get myself to chill. She said she's mad at the judge for giving her those 4 years probation. She didn't know that was going to happen. And now she only got to see her man for 30 minutes and she's got to go serve this jail time. And he is saying to her, you can't let this stuff make you snap to the max. Like you got a lot going on. Shit is rough, but it's about to be far behind us. Like whatever you need to do to get through your time and come home, put your energy towards that. Like you need to take it down a notch. And he is being very calming with her.
Calming, he is. Because I don't know how they put up with her. I don't know how Lexi deals with her. Either Lexi is really high on some good shit or she's the most patient person in the world because she's constantly playing in Lexi's face. Like just, she does way too much and Lexi's just, but then again I think about how Lexi was on Jocelyn's Cabaret. She's just pretty mellow, she's pretty calm, but I know for a fact on Jocelyn's Cabaret she was high all the time. So I think she's just high.
Well, she better watch out. She could get a DUI as well.
I don't think DUIs just matter to these folks.
No, well, definitely doesn't matter to Ayonna. So, so she's kind of walking around talking to him outside. And then, she says her man is the only person who can really get her to calm down because he knows her heart. He understands her hurt and her pain and he gets it. And she has no idea how she's going to manage to not talk to him for 2 weeks. I mean,
well, you don't have a choice.
I mean, okay. I have to tell you something. If something happened to me and I had to go away and not talk to my husband for 2 weeks, my husband, who I've been married to for 24 years, I would be fine. I would manage to pull myself all together every single day for 2 weeks. I would be fine.
Me too.
I don't know. Yeah. And I think a lot of it comes from this insecurity of her thinking he's going to find somebody else. He's going to find somebody else.
And that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
She thinks in 2 weeks' time he's going to find somebody else, which he probably will.
And he probably would.
Yeah. So she says to Lexi, she's like, I just need a whole day to pull it together. Like I've wasted this day. I got to get a whole day to pull together. I got to load up my card. I got to give people the money that they need. I got to get my kids' school clothes paid for. Amira needs an umbrella stroller. I was like, yeah, Amira needs an umbrella stroller with some double straps so she can feel secure. Don't just throw her in it. Good Lord.
I think Amira, if you just gave her your debit card, she could
go buy her
own stroller on Amazon and be perfectly fine. She's got this.
Yeah, she's good. You're right. So she says, I have no more emotion. This is kind of, I think, when I felt bad for her because she said, I have no more emotion. I'm completely drained. I want to go to jail. I want to get it over with. I want to go see my kids right now and then just go tomorrow and get it over with. I think it was the overwhelming emotion of the court and all that. And listen, whoever is her court appointed lawyer did her no favors by telling her you can do Zoom court, but you have to be sitting like you're in court. You can't walk around your house like you're chatting with somebody on FaceTime, And so I think they didn't tell her that. And so she didn't know. And then when she got called out and then she got all mad because she's defensive,
Well, the thing about it is I think most people know that already. Well, I think her attorney was probably wrong for assuming that she knew that.
To just sit and you can't be walking around the kitchen making breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
But
I'd be scared shitless if I was on Zoom court.
So would I. I would be super paranoid.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was wrong in just assuming she knew that because clearly she did not know that.
So next week on, and by the way, I watched it on the regular TV, and you're right. They don't give you the previews right away. I had to go find the screener to find the previews. They made it hard. The screeners are hard to get now. You got to go through 2 apps and get an authorization code. And I don't
Oh,
know.
no.
Yeah, it's like a thing now. So next week on Love During Lockup, Ayonna goes to jail. She goes in. She's real scared, but she goes in. Rick has that ring. He is headed to see Samantha. Shonta says she does not know if True is lying to her. And then we hear him saying, "Oh, you ain't got shit to worry about." That's funny. Now we see Joey talking to Michael's mom, because remember he said he was going to see, but this
Yes.
must be the stepdad, because he didn't say my mom and my dad. He said he's going to go see the mom, but there's a man standing there, sitting in this Barca lounger, and he goes, regarding Michael, he says he's been in and out all the 18 years I've known him, and so I
Oh,
think that
wow.
must mean he's like a stepdad, right?
Yeah.
And then Joey says, well, when Michael says he's going to change, he's lying. So I think Joey is actually going to be done with Michael.
Good.
Tenny jumps out of her car and runs from the car across the highway to meet Rob, leaving her children in the car. We see Andrew sitting on his phone looking sad. And then our producer asks Candice, and once again, we do the too long on the camera angle with it. The producer says, Candice, is there ever a point that you were using it for money? And she just smiles at the camera real quick and then makes her face like not smile again, like, oh, I got caught. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So let's make some predictions here. Ayonna is gonna Ayonna and Jahmal. I think they're gonna stay together. I think these two are gonna make it.
Well, I looked on her Instagram page and I don't remember seeing any photos of the two of them, but she's not like heavily active on there.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to think that
was he going to be in for a long time? I can't remember. Seems like he was getting out soon. I feel like
I gotta go back and look.
I feel like they put the people on Love During Lockup that possibly could spin into
Love
After Lockup. You know, so they have a
Yeah.
chance. Like Tenny and Rob would be a great candidates. Joey and Michael are not good candidates.
So on Tenny and Rob, I did notice that where there were a lot of pictures of them together. When I looked the other day, there's not a lot of, like, the recent ones. They're not on there anymore. But it still says that it's a shared Instagram page.
That's so stupid. I hate when people do that.
Yeah, but like all the like vacation photos that were on there of them are not on there. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, Taylor and Chance still have like a shared Instagram page, because
gross.
One of them was posting it because they had like so many followers they couldn't take it down. But by the way, you can change your name on your Instagram page. I think you can only do it like once, but you can't change it. Thinking about changing
They're
mine.
so gross.
Yeah.
So what?
I don't know. My regular one, not my pink shade one. By the way, guys, I'm like 118 people away from 10,000. So if you know anybody, please follow me on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. You got a dog account? You got a cat account? You got
I was just
work
about
account?
to say, don't make me create a sushi page, a Marvel page, and pages for the cats so they can like it. Your page.
Yeah. I will tell you, some people are like, listen, I got my brother, I got my niece, I'm like, listen, if your kids have a Finsta, have them follow me and then just have them mute me so they never have to see anything I do, just as long as they're a real follower.
Funny.
Yeah. I know, it's all I talk about. Keisha, what's going on over on the Libra Lounge?
New episode is dropping Wednesday. We're going to talk about the J-Lo Ben possible breakup. Britney Spears, the newest mental breakdown and her possibly going broke. The new bariatric show.
Oh, there's a new.
It's like botched bariatric show.
Oh, I saw that and thought about you because I know you love a bariatric surgery show.
Yes. What else we're going to talk about?
Are y'all going to talk about the subjects I want you to talk about, which is the Puff Daddy, the Jay-Z, the Beyonce, that?
Oh yeah. Yes. Most definitely we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
How could we not? Because I have lots and lots and lots to say about that.
Yeah. I sent you where to start, and I figured that would probably take you days and days and days to wade through all of it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because, I don't really trust a person that has like too big of a bottom lip anyway.
Okay.
And P. Diddy has too big of a bottom lip, which we talked about that on the last episode anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never
If you have
noticed
too
that.
big of a bottom lip,
Uh-huh.
don't come at me, because then I have to come at you if you have too big of a bottom lip, but I just don't. Y'all know how I am. You know, the parts in the hair,
I
too big of
know.
a bottom lip. I just have my little things.
Yeah. These are things that mean something to you. Diddy always has what I call the Property Brothers teeth, like the teeth that are so big that you can't close your mouth. He has Property Brothers teeth because the Property Brothers, they never have ever put their lips together ever. They're like,
they can't.
arr, arr.
They can't. Yeah. There's just little things that I just believe, and I'm not going to treat you any differently.
Oh,
To
that's
your
nice.
face.
That's nice.
But behind the scenes,
Mhm.
I have lots of things to say about that. So yeah, we're going to talk about those things and anything that happens in between that time. So yeah, tune in. Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody make sure to follow Keisha at the Libra Lounge with Keisha. You can search that up on the Instagram and find it. She's also got a very active Facebook group. You can find it there. And tomorrow I'll have 90 Day Happily Ever After with Kimberly on the $10 level of Patreon and Supercast. We're doing MILF Manor. And I've got an interview coming up this week with Joey and Anthony of MILF Manor. And next week I'm interviewing Lynette. So you can't hold me down with those MILFs. I love it. We're also adding over on the $5 level of Patreon and Supercast. We're adding a 90 Day UK that will be added in this week, and then it will replace Seeking Sister Wife, which is going away after this week. Listen, you and I both cover trash. We just cover different trash. That's what it is.
But she talks so badly about my trash.
I mean, sometimes I do.
She looks down on my trash.
It's not true. It's just the Mama June.
Let me just say the words Mama June. And her whole facial expression just changes, you guys. Yeah, you should see her now.
Oh God, that picture of Mama June
makes my heart happy.
Bless her. Well, anyway, we have good thoughts about Ayonna for next week, and so we'll just see what happens.
Yes, I can't wait to see.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.